Hi everyone, we're Firetap Games, and in this video we'll be checking out Heroes of the Sanctum. We'll be setting up a new quest and following along with our how to play booklet. So in game setup, first we're going to choose our heroes and set up our battle lines. We've set up 4 heroes already. I've gone with the Pathbreaker, the Thunder Hammer, the Spirit Dancer and the Warlock. I could have chosen any of the 4 heroes out of the 12 in the box, but these are the 4 that I've decided to go with. Okay, step 2. We need to choose and set up a quest. In Heroes of the Sanctum, we have a crazy amount of quests in the box, but today we'll be going with Hold the Line. All of these other quests can go back into the game box. You'll notice that at the back of the quest card, we have a backstory, the difficulty level, how long the game thinks it's going to take, and we also have a custom way to set up our region stack and special setup instructions. So step 3 is actually how to set up our region stack. In this case, we only have one region, which is the Burning Village, and that is this card right here. All of these other region cards, we won't be needing them, so they can go back into the game box as well. In other quests, we may have more than one region, and we'd have to set up the stack so that it matches the order of this list here, with the one on top being the visible card that you can see. The only thing to remember at this point is to make sure that you can see the arrived keyword at the bottom left of the region card. So next we have to follow our special setup rules. Here it reads, remove all threats that are level 3 or higher from the threat deck. And we'll do that right now. Over here is our threat deck. And we're just going to remove all of the level 3 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. We're going to put those in the game box. I'm going to shuffle the rest of the cards. And that is our threat deck set up and ready to go. Okay, we're done with our custom quest setup. We can move on to the next step. Step 3 is to create our region stack, which is what we just did during the custom quest setup. And step 4 is to set up our proximities. Over here is our proximity deck, and we can tell which proximity cards we need to place by looking at the region card. In the bottom left, we'll see 4 numbers, and each of these corners represent the 4 corners of the heroes. So, for example, in the top left corner, it says 9. So we'll find the proximity card with the number 9 and place it in the corner that corresponds with this diagram over here. The same goes for number 8, which is the watchtower, number 30, which is embers, and number 27, which is the inferno. It's worth noting that these are double-sided, so if you're looking for the numbers, make sure to check both sides. We can move that into the game box for now because this only has one region card, so we'll be only using these proximities moving forward. The next step is to prepare our stratagem deck. Now this is pretty easy. All we need to do is make sure that our stratagem deck has this card on the top. It comes full circle. We don't actually need to shuffle this deck because this card will always guarantee that this is going to be shuffled after your first turn. So that's all there is to set up the stratagem deck. The next step is to set up our quest tracker. I've already done this, and all we need to do is make sure that our time token is on the 1 position and the scout token is on the 0 position in the green track. Next, we have step 7, which is to prepare our token supply. Now, we've already done this. I have my damage tokens. I've got my defense/stunt tokens over here, and we have our 4 hero tokens. Now, it's worth noting that the 4 hero tokens match up with the token icons in the top right of your hero cards. So you'll notice, for example, that this one matches up with the warlock over here. So when you choose your own heroes, make sure you've chosen the tokens that match up correctly with your heroes. Next, we have step 8, which is to prepare our threat and loot decks. Now, we've already shuffled the threat deck during the quest setup, so we're done with that. And just finally, we need to shuffle our loot. Here we go. Finally, we have step 9, which is to spawn threats. In Heroes of the Sanctum, we spawn threats by looking at our region card, and in the top right, we'll see a skull icon and a number, and that's how many threats we have to spawn. So, starting in the top left battle line, so this is your hero in the top left, we have to spawn clockwise. So we're going to spawn 3 threats. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. So our threats are spawned, the game is set up, and we're good to go. Now that we've finished setting up our quest, let's take a moment to understand what it is that we're actually looking at. We're going to start by looking at the heroes a bit more closely, and we're going to zero in on the Thunderhammer. So we have a health value of 6, which is in the top left. We have an attack value of 2 and a defense value of 0. All heroes have a unique ability and a unique passive effect. And the last note about heroes is they can be advanced. And if that happens, you should flip the card and reveal the advanced side, which has better stats. So let's move on. Next, we have battle lines. Imagine a horizontal line coming out of each of your heroes. That would be their battle lines. So for example, the Manipulator is inside the Pathbreaker's battle line. The Reaper is inside the Thunderhammer's battle line. The Shade is inside the Spirit Dancer's battle line. And of course, the Warlock has no threats inside of his battle line. The next thing to point out are Sanctum banners. Sanctum banners combine the health of the two horizontally adjacent heroes. So in the case of the top row, the Pathbreaker has a health value of 8, the Thunderhammer has a health value of 6, giving the Sanctum banner a maximum health value of 14. When damage is applied to heroes, they are not applied to the actual hero cards themselves. Instead, damage tokens are applied to the horizontally adjacent Sanctum banner. Now, if there's ever a case where this Sanctum banner in particular receives 14 or more damage, both of these heroes are going to be defeated. Because not only does it share their health, it also shares their deaths. So you need to be very careful not to kill your heroes. So in the example of the heroes below, we have a health value of 6 for the Warlock, and the Spirit Dancer also has a health value of 6, giving this Sanctum banner a maximum health of 12. So in the case of this row, if there is 12 or more damage on this Sanctum banner, these heroes will also be defeated. It's worth noting also that if we move a hero to a new location, the Sanctum banner's maximum health will be updated too. The next thing to look at are the 4 proximity cards surrounding the heroes in the battlefield. So, proximity cards are objects or locations that either affect the heroes or can be interacted with by the heroes. So in the case of the wooden barricades, this card is going to provide positive effects to the Pathbreaker. So it's going to give the Pathbreaker a +1 in defense. The Thunderhammer will be able to use the Watchtower to perform scout actions. The Embers and Inferno cards are going to actually cause damage to the Warlock and the Spirit Dancer. But the last thing to point out is only the nearest hero can use a proximity card. So in this case, the Pathbreaker is the nearest hero to the barricades. The Thunderhammer is the nearest hero to the Watchtower. The Spirit Dancer is the nearest hero to Embers. And the Warlock is the nearest hero to this Inferno card. Next up, we have our Stratagem deck along with our 4 hero tokens. So the Stratagem card each round is going to give us a tactical narrative as well as an effect that we're going to have to do. We're going to be given action points, 8 in this case, that we can spend on the available actions, and we use our hero tokens to assign those actions to heroes. Red actions cost 2 action points, and the blue actions cost 1 action point. Next, we have our region stack. And in some quests, we'll have multiple cards here that we need to scout through. But in this quest, we only have our 1 card. The region card represents where the heroes are. Where are we? We're in the Burning Village. That's where we are. And for us to fully scout this Burning Village, we need our heroes to scout it. And every time they perform a scout action, the scout track is going to be incremented by 1 on the quest tracker. As soon as we have a value on the quest tracker that matches the green value on the region card, that region is fully scouted. So in this case, we need to reach 11 on the quest tracker for us to fully scout the Burning Village. Finally, we have our quest card. You'll notice our victory condition, which in this case is to reach 6 on the time track and fully scout the Burning Village. And we have 2 quest events, which we'll explore more when the game starts. Typically, at the end of each game round, we're going to be incrementing the time track by 1. Okay, we've covered our main game concepts and we're ready to begin our quest.